Hey, altruistic friends and first besides well-known critics to whom I'm thankful for letting me. The outside, I wish you and your beloved a safe journey in 2021 too, in spite of the 2 week corona and third wave on the move, all with high mortality rates besides other natural calamities all over the globe. It is social activist come good heart back with altruistic delight for my 151st video on anvil of publication on YouTube today, 24th July 2021 Saturday. The topic for today is substance abuse by school kids in India, causes and remedies. Substance abuse, also known as drug abuse, is the use of drugs by methods which are harmful to the individual or others. It's a form of substance-related disorder. Differing definitions of drug abuse are used in public health, medical, and criminal justice contexts. In some cases, criminal or antisocial behavior occurs when the person is under the influence of a drug, and long-term personality changes in individuals may also occur. In addition to possible physical, social, and psychological harm, drugs may also lead to criminal penalties, although these vary widely depending on the local jurisdiction. Drugs most often associated with them include alcohol, amphetamines, barbiturates, benzodiazepines, cannabis, cocaine, hallucinogens, methaqualone, and opioids. The exact cause of substance abuse is not clear. There are two predominant theories, either a classical genetic disposition which is learned from others, or a habit which, if addiction develops, manifests itself as a chronic debilitating disease. In 2010, about 5% of people, 230 million, used an illicit substance. Of these, 27 million have high risk of drug use, also known as recurrent drug use, causing harm to the psychological problems or social problems that put them at risk of those dangers. In 2015, substance use disorders resulted in 307,400 deaths, up from 165,000 deaths in 1990. Of these, the highest numbers are from alcohol use disorders at 137,500, opioid use disorders at 122,100 deaths, ketamine use disorders at 12,200 deaths, and cocaine use disorders at 11,100. Drug abuse is no longer a current medical diagnosis in either of the most used diagnostic tools in the world. The American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Disorders, DSM, the World Health Organization, WHO, International Statistical Classification of Diseases, ICO, drug misuse is commonly when prescription medication is sedative, anxiolytic, analgesic, or stimulant properties are used for mood alteration or intoxication, ignoring the fact that overdose of such medicines can sometimes have serious adverse effects. It sometimes involves drug diversion from the individual for whom it was prescribed. Prescription misuse has been defined differently, inconsistently based on status of drug prescription. The users without a prescription, intentional use to achieve intoxicating effects, route of administration, injection with alcohol, and the presence or absence of dependent symptoms. In countries like India, you can get the prescription drugs over the counter if you are willing to pay extra money. They never ask for the prescription, valid prescription. In developed countries, that doesn't happen. I know. Okay, because I lived in US for some time. Chronic use of certain substances leads to a change in the system known as tolerance to the medicine cells. That more of the substance is needed in order to produce the desired effects. With some substances, stopping or reducing use can cause withdrawal symptoms to occur depending on the specific substance in question. The rate of prescription drug use is fast overtaking illegal drug use in the US. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, 7 million people were taking prescription drugs for non-medical use in 2010. Among 12th graders, non-medical prescription drug use is now second only to cannabis. In 2011, nearly 1 in 12 high school seniors reported non-medical use of nicotine. 1 in 20 reported such use of oxycontin. Both of these drugs contain opioids. A 2017 survey of 12th graders use of oxycontin of 2.7% compared to 5.5% at its peak in 2005. More misuse of the combination hydrocodone paracetamol was at its lowest since a peak of 10.5% in 2003. This decrease may be related to public health initiatives and decreased availability. Avenues of obtaining prescription drugs for misuse are varied. Sharing, illegally buying medications at school or work, often doctor shopping to find multiple physicians to prescribe the same medication without knowledge of other prescribers. Increasingly, law enforcement is holding physicians responsible for prescribing controlled substances without fully establishing patient controls, such as patient drug control contract. Concerned physicians are educating themselves on how to identify medication seeking behavior in their patients and are becoming familiar with flags that would alert them to potential prescription drug abuse. Depending on the actual compound, these are chemical compounds basically. Drug abuse, including alcohol, may lead to health problems, social problems, morbidity, injuries, unprotected sex, violence, deaths, motor vehicle accidents, homicides, suicides, physical dependence, or psychological. There is a high rate of suicide in alcoholics and other drug abusers. The reasons believed to cause the increased risk of suicide include the long-term abuse of alcohol and other drugs causing physiological distortion of brain chemistry as well as a social isolation. Another factor is acute intoxicating effects of the drugs may make suicide more likely to occur. Suicide is also very common in adolescent abusers, with 1 in 4 suicides in adolescents being related to alcohol abuse. In the US, approximately 30% of suicides are related to alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse is also associated with increased risk of committing criminal offenses, including child abuse, domestic violence, rapes, burglaries, and assaults. Drug abuse, including alcohol and prescription drugs, induce symptomatology which resembles mental illness. This can occur both in the intoxicated state and also during withdrawal. In some cases, substance-induced psychiatric disorders can persist long after detoxification, such as prolonged psychosis or depression after amphetamine or cocaine abuse. A protracted withdrawal syndrome can also occur, with the syndrome persisting for months after cessation of use. Benzodiazepines are the most notable drug for inducing prolonged withdrawal effects with symptoms sometimes for years after cessation of use. Both alcohol barbiturate as well as benzodiazepine withdrawal can potentially be use of hallucinogens can trigger delusional and other psychotic phenomena long after cessation of use. Cannabis can trigger panic attacks during intoxication and with continued cause a state similar to dysthymia. Researchers have found that daily cannabis use and the use of high potency cannabis are independently associated with a higher chance of developing schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders. Severe anxiety and depression are commonly induced by sustained alcohol abuse. People even go further. Even sustained moderate alcohol use may increase anxiety and depression levels in some cases. These drug-induced psychotic disorders fade away with prolonged abstinence. Similarly, although substance abuse induces many changes in the brain, there is evidence that many of these alterations are reversed following periods of prolonged abstinence. Impulsivity is characterized by actions based on sudden desires, whims, or inclinations rather than careful thought. Individuals with substance abuse have higher levels of impulsivity, and individuals who use multiple drugs tend to be more impulsive. A number of studies using the Iowa gambling task as a measure for impulsive behavior found that drug using populations made more risky choices compared to healthy controls. There is a hypothesis that the loss of impulse control may be due to impaired inhibitory control resulting from drug-induced changes that take place in the frontal cortex. The neurodevelopmental and hormonal changes that happen during adolescence may modulate impulse control that could possibly lead to the experimentation with the drugs and may lead to the road of addiction. Impulsivity is thought to be a facet trait in the neuroticism personality domain. Overindulgence, negative urgency, which is prospectively associated with the development of substance abuse. From the applied behavior analysis literature, behavioral psychology, and from randomized clinical trials, several evidence-based interventions. Nowadays, in medicine, evidence-based intervention is getting popular. Behavioral marital therapy, motivation and interviewing, community reinforcement approach, exposure therapy, contingency management. They help suppress cravings and mental anxiety, improve reinforcement approach, exposure therapy, contingency management. They help suppress cravings and mental anxiety, improve focus on treatment and new learning behavioral skills, ease withdrawal, cancer relapse. In children and adolescents, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and family therapy currently has the most research evidence for the treatment of substance abuse problems. Well established studies also include ecological, family-based treatment, and group CBT. These treatments can be administered in a variety of different formats, each of which has varying levels of research support. Research has shown that what makes groups effective is that it promotes the development of social skills, developmentally appropriate emotional regulatory skills, and other interpersonal skills. A few integrated treatment models, which combines parts with various types of treatment, seen as both well-established and broadly effective. A study on methanol, alcohol, and other drug use has shown that integrated treatment programs have produced significant results, resulting in higher negative results on toxicology screens. Additionally, brief school-based interventions have been found to be effective in reducing adolescent alcohol and cannabis use and abuse. Interviewing can also be effective in treating substance use disorder in adolescents. Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous are widely known self-help organizations in which members support each other abstain from substances. Social skills are significantly impaired in people suffering from alcoholism due to the neurotoxic effects of alcohol on the brain, especially the prolonged prefrontal cortex of the brain, area of the brain. It has been suggested that training adjunctive in inpatient treatment of alcohol dependency is probably efficacious, including managing the social. A number of medications have been approved for the treatment of substance abuse. These include replacement therapies such as buprenorphine, as well as antagonist medicines like disulfiram and naltrexone in either short-acting or the newer long-acting form. Several other medications, often ones originally used in other contexts, shown to be effective, including bupropion and modafinil, methadone, and buprenorphine are sometimes used to treat opiate addiction. These drugs are used as substitutes and other opiates and still cause withdrawal symptoms, but they facilitate the tapering of process in controlled. It is common for individuals with drug use disorder to have psychological problems. The terms dual diagnosis or co-occurring disorders refers to having a mental health and substance use disorder at the same time. According to the British Association for Psychopharmacology, BAP, symptoms of psychotic disorders such as depression, anxiety, and psychosis are the rule rather than the exception in patients misusing drugs and or alcohol. Individuals who have a comorbid psychological disorder often have a poor prognosis. Either disorder is untreated. Historically, most individuals with a dual diagnosis either receive treatment only for one of the disorders or they did not receive any treatment. However, since the 1980s, there has been a push towards integrated mental health and addiction treatment. In this method, neither condition is considered primary nor are both treated simultaneously by the same provider. The initiation of drug use, including alcohol, is most likely to occur during adolescence, and some experimentation with substances by older adolescents is common. For example, research from 2010 monitoring the future survey, a nationwide study on the rates of substance use in the US, shows that 48.2% of 12th graders report having used at some point in their lives. The 30 days prior to the survey, 41.2% of 12th graders had consumed alcohol and 19.2% of 12th graders had smoked tobacco cigarettes. Excuse me. In 2009, in the US, about 21% of high school students have taken prescription drugs without a prescription. And earlier in 2002, the WHO estimated that around 140 million people were alcohol dependent and another 400 million with alcohol-related problems. Studies have shown that the large majority of adolescents will phase out of drug use before it becomes problematic. Thus, although the rates of overall use are high, percentage of adolescents who meet criteria for substance abuse is significantly lower, close to 5%. According to BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, worldwide the UN estimates there are more than 50 million regular users of morphine, diacetate, also called heroin, cocaine, and synthetic drugs. More than 70,200 Americans died from drug overdose in 2017. Even famous pop singer Michael Jackson perished as a result of overdosing of steroids to alter his skin color to fat because he hated his skin color. He's a black, you know that. Among these, the sharpest increase occurred among deaths related to fentanyl and synthetic opioids, which accounts for 28,466 deaths. Medications have not been found to be useful. And prostate is a glutamatergic NMDA antagonist which helps with alcohol withdrawal symptoms because alcohol withdrawal is associated with a hyperglutamatergic system. The first edition of the American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, called as DSM, published in 1952, grouped alcohol and other drug abuse under sociopathic personality disturbances, which are thought to be symptoms of deeper psychological disorders or moral weakness. The third edition, published in 1980, was the first to recognize substance abuse, including drug abuse and substance dependence, as conditions separate from substance social and cultural factors. The definition of dependence emphasized tolerance to drugs and withdrawal from them as key components to diagnosis. In 1987, the DSM IIIR category, psychoactive substance abuse, which includes common concepts of drug abuse, is defined as a maladaptive pattern of use indicated by continued use despite knowledge of having a persistent or occupational, psychological, or physical problem that is caused or exacerbated by the use or by recurrent use in situations in which it is physically hazardous. It is a residual category with the dependence taking precedence when applicable. It was the first definition to give equal weight to behavioral and physiological factors in diagnosis. By 1988, the DSM-4 defines substance dependence as a syndrome of compulsive use. It becomes a physical dependence actually, but without tolerance and withdrawal. Whereas substance abuse is problematic use without compulsive use, significant tolerance and withdrawal. Substance abuse can be harmful to your health and may in 1994, the fourth edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM, issued by the American Psychiatric Association, APA. The DSM-4 defines substance dependence as when individual persists use of alcohol or other drugs despite problems related to the use of the substance. Substance dependence may be along with the criteria for the diagnosis. DSM-4 defines substance abuse as a maladaptive pattern of substance use leading to clinically significant impairment or distress as manifested by one or more of the following occurring within a 12-month period. Recurrent substance use resulting in a failure to fulfill major role obligations at work, school, or home. Repeated poor work performance related to substance use, substance-related absences, suspensions, or expulsions from school, neglect of children or household. Second one, recurrent substance use in situations in which it is physically hazardous. Example, driving an automobile or operating a machine impaired by substance use. Third one, recurrent substance-related. Example, arrest for substance-related disorderly conduct, continued substance use despite having persistent or recurrent social or interpersonal problems caused or exacerbated by the effects of the substance. Example, arguments with the spouse about consequences of intoxication, physical fights, etc. Fifth one, the symptoms have never met the criteria for substance dependence for this class of substances. The fifth edition, 2005, was released in 2013 and it revisited this terminology. The principal change was a transition from the abuse dependence terminology. The DSM-4 era, abuse was seen as an early form or less hazardous form of the disease characterized with the dependence criteria. However, the APA's dependence term, as noted above, does not mean that physiological dependency is present. Disease state is present, one that most likely to as referred to as an addiction state. Many involved recognize that the terminology has often led to confusion both within the medical community and with the general public. The American Psychiatric Association (APA) requested input as to how the terminology of this illness should be altered as it moves forward with the DSM-5. The DSM-5, substance abuse and substance dependence have been merged in the category into the category of substance use disorders, and they no longer exist as individual concepts. While substance abuse and dependence were either present or not, substance use disorder has three levels of severity. Most governments have designed legislation to criminalize certain types of drug use. These drugs are often called illegal drugs, but generally what is illegal are the unlicensed production, distribution, and possession. These drugs are also called controlled substances. Even for simple possession, legal punishment can be quite severe, including the death penalty in some countries, especially the Muslim countries. Laws vary across countries and even within them and are fluctuated widely throughout history. Attempts by government-sponsored drug control policy to interdict drug supply and eliminate drug abuse have been largely unsuccessful. In spite of the huge efforts by the US, drug supply and purity has reached an all-time high, with a vast majority of resources spent on interdiction and law enforcement. Instead of the US, the number of non-violent drug offenders in prison exceeds by 100,000 the total incarcerated population in the European Union. Despite the fact that the EU has 100 million more citizens, despite drug legislation for perhaps because of it, large organized criminal drug cartels operate worldwide. Their cartels. Some countries' economy is dependent on these illegal drugs production. Advocates of decriminalization argue that drug prohibition makes drug dealing a lucrative business, leading to much of the associated criminal activity. Immigrants and refugees have often been made under great stress, physical trauma, and depression, and anxiety due to separation from loved ones often characterize the pre-migration and transit phases, followed by cultural dissonance, language barriers, racism, discrimination, economic adversity, overcrowding, social isolation and loss of status, and difficulty obtaining work, and fears of deportation of them. Refugees frequently experience concerns about the health and safety of loved ones left behind, and uncertainty regarding the possibility of returning to their country of origin. For some, substance abuse functions as a coping mechanism to attempt to deal with these stressors. Immigrants and refugees may bring the substance use and abuse patterns and behaviors of their country of origin or adopt the attitudes, behaviors, and substance use and abuse that exist within the dominant culture into which they are entering. Street children in many developing countries are a high-risk group for substance misuse, in particular solvent abuse like paint thinners, whiteners, etc. Drawing on research in Kenya, Cottrell Boyce argues that drug use amongst street children is primarily functional, dulling the senses against the hardship of the street, but can also provide a link to the support structure of the street family peer group as a potent symbol of shared experience. In order to maintain high quality performance, some musicians take chemical substances. Some musicians take drugs such as alcohol to deal with the stress of performance. As a group, they have a higher rate of substance abuse. The most common chemical substance which is abused by musicians is cocaine because of its neurological effects. All these are intoxicants which has a direct effect on the brain. So they in some ways own the state. One way, stimulants such as cocaine increase alertness and cause feelings of euphoria and can performers feel as though they in some ways own the state. One way in which substance abuse is harmful as a performer, musicians especially, is if the substance being abused is aspirated. Lungs are an important organ used by singers, and addiction to cigarettes may seriously harm the quality of the performance. Smoking harms the alveoli, which are responsible for absorbing oxygen. Cynic field to drug abuse is very common. So many actors have been caught either for dealing in drugs or abusing drugs. Even in sports, people abuse the chemical substances to perform better, especially steroids and hormonal injection by females. So those things are very common in sports. But nowadays they are trying to contain all that by testing all the participants before the event happens. The epidemic of substance abuse in young children has assumed alarming dimensions in India. Changing cultural values, increasing economic stress, and dwindling supportive bonds are leading to initiation into substances. Cannabis, heroin, and Indian produced pharmaceutical drugs are the most frequently abused drugs in India. Drug use, misuse, or abuse is also primarily due to the nature of the drug abuse of the individual and the addict's immediate environment. The processes of industrialization, urbanization, and migration have led to loosening of the traditional methods of social control, rendering an individual vulnerable to the stresses and strains of modern life. Today, there is no part of the world that is free from the curse of drug trafficking and drug addiction. Some countries' economy itself is dependent on these drugs. Millions of drug addicts all over the world are leading miserable lives between life and death. India too is caught in this vicious cycle of drug abuse, and the numbers of drug addicts are increasing day by day. According to a United Nations report, 1 million heroin addicts are registered in India. Unofficially, there are as many as 5 million. What started off as a casual use among a minuscule population of high-income group youth in the metro has permeated all sections of society. Inhalation of heroin alone has given way to intravenous drug use, that too in combination with other sedatives and painkillers. This has intensity of the effect hastened the process of addiction and complicated the process of recovery. Cannabis product, often called charas, bhang, and ganja, are abused throughout the country because it has attained some amount of religious because of its association with some Hindu deities. The International Narcotics Control Board, in its 2002 report released in Vienna, pointed out that in India, persons addicted to the opiates are shifting the drug of choice from opium to heroin. Drug use culture is highly rampant in IT field. There are weekend parties in farmhouses to so-called unwinding by using party drugs and alcohol. Religious fanatics in disguise as saints are real satans and mix banned substances in their so-called prasads and offer them for free to the dumb people who believe in these devils. Ice cream parlors, juice shops, closed educational institutes lace their produce with the drugs. Once students pick up that addiction, these culprits mint money. They start selling it at a high price. One can quit stopping cigarettes and even alcohol, since they are mostly psychological impact, whereas drugs usage results in physical dependence like food, water, etc. Hence, it is practically impossible to stop usage of drugs. So many self-anointed saints increase their disabled base mainly through offering drugs and sex for free at the places of worship, also known as ashrams. So stay away from such demands for it. Basically, any material that causes intoxication or as a direct impact on the brain's function should be avoided. Ishkan is very popular for this. Okay, the products containing narcotic drugs like International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Okay, the pharmaceutical products containing narcotic drugs like heroin, methadone, use killers, or analgesics by anesthesiologists are also increasingly being abused. The intravenous injections of analgesics like dextromethorphan, etc., are also reported from many states, while easily available at 1/10 the cost of heroin. Protein-based cough syrups like Benadryl continue to be diverted from the domestic market for abuse. Drug abuse is a complex phenomenon which has various social, cultural, biological, geographical, biohistorical, and economic aspects. Sanitizers that we are using nowadays, and because of COVID-19, when alcohol was prohibited because of this COVID-19, the shops are closed, the people started consuming the sanitizer. People have lost life also, or illicit this thing. No? All right, he sold in the market. It contains mostly methyl alcohol. People die. They lose their eyesight. Okay, the disintegration of the whole joint family system Absence of parental love and care in modern families where both parents are working, decline, moral values, etc., led to a rise in the number of drug addicts who take drugs to escape hard realities of life. The introduction of synthetic drugs and intravenous drug use leading to HIV/AIDS have added a new dimension to the problem, especially in the northeast states of India. Drug abuse has led to a detrimental effect on the society. It increases the crime rate. Addicts resort to crime to pay for the drugs. Drugs remove inhibition and impair judgment, egging a one-on-one on to commit offenses. Incidences of teasing, group clashes, assault, and impulsive murders increase with the drug use. Apart from affecting the financial stability, once you get into it, there is no way of getting out. There is hardly any room for getting out. Addiction increases conflicts and causes untold emotional pain for every member of the family. The most drug users being in the protected age group of 18 to 35 years, the loss in terms of human potential calculable. The damage to the physical, psychological, moral, and intellectual growth of the youth is very high. Adolescent drug abuse is one of the major areas of concern in adolescents and young people's behavior. It is estimated that in India, by the time most boys reach their ninth grade, about 50% of them have tried at least one of the substance of abuse nature. Is it something that we Indians? Why is the politicians are not thinking those ways? Some countries' economy is dependent on banned drug production. Colombia, Afghanistan, Sudan, Nigeria are classic examples in this. Muslim countries are much stricter as regards punishment for drug peddlers since they kill them, and it is a real life lesson for other potential drug dealers. Market for drugs thrives because of users. Drug producers thrive since the market for such produce is good. So it's a vicious circle. Prevention is the best measure or permanently. Create awareness, especially among younger generation. The drug should be used only if prescribed formally by a medical doctor or a medical ailment and not otherwise. To be prescribed by the medical doctor as a cure. Punishment should be severe for perpetrators like in Muslim countries, like imposing financial penalty is not enough. Seal also called religious establishments where drugs are misused or abused. Enforce all rules to the code without any bias whatsoever, irrespective of who the offenders are. Seal all pharmacies where prescription drugs are sold without formal prescription. Ban online sale of medicines, especially prescription drugs without legal prescription. Ban courier companies dealing drugs, camouflaging them as some products that can be sold, like for instance, food provisions, etc. You know there are LSD stamps too. LSD stamps, like licking you get the high. Drug is a chemical substance associated with a distinct physical and psychological effects. It also alters a person's normal bodily process or functions. So this definition is, in medical terms, a drug is a substance prescribed by a physician or manufactured expressly for the purpose of treating and preventing diseases and ailments by its chemical nature and effect on the structure and functions of a living organism. In the psychological and sociological context, drug is a term of habit-forming substance which directly affect upon the brain or nervous system. On the other hand, any chemical substance which affects the bodily function, mood, perception, or consciousness, which has potential for misuse and which can be maybe harmful to the individual and the society. In terms of this definition, the frequent use of drug is considered so dangerous and sometimes even immoral and antisocial that it arouses a variety of indecent and hostile sentiments on the part of the general public. Family support because besides other avenues, drug addicts are like wild beasts, and containing them is very tough, but it is certainly possible like taming wild animals. Refrain from sudden stoppage, but face it up. Reduce the frequency and quantum of usage gradually. Never leave them alone, since they may either hurt themselves or hurt others in their vicinity. Focus on prevention programs on the adverse impacts of such drugs. Too much freedom to youngsters should be that is happening now. After we started the online education, this thing that has really ruined the quality of education. The youngsters watch out for signs of drug use like social isolation, vacant looks, shabby dressing, not maintaining even basic hygiene, bathing, brushing, etc., loss of appetite for food, etc. Nip such habits in the bud. Okay, debates, discussion, and open-ended topics like this can go on forever. Anyway, let me pull the plug here. We meet again real soon with another interesting topic. Some of the statements, views expressed are solely mine based on limited knowledge, pain, gain, or personal experience. Always watch these videos with the closed caption subtitles for absolute 100% comprehension as per my sincere recommendation zillion times. I know I rushed through to complete the presentation in 20 minutes maximum. Today I must have taken like double the time. This time limit is self-imposed to retain the viewer's attention as of now. I'm quite aware of the fact that I exceed this time limit. Sometimes I take double the time depending on the topic. Since I make honest attempts to cover the selected topic more elaborately, including so many intricate fine details referring a wide variety of sources, in particular Wikipedia quite extensively, besides articles and books published recently. Besides, sprinkle my own salt and pepper and season it with my personal experiences so far in my life. Also, intuition. Stay at home as much as possible, maintain social distancing attributed to pandemic novel COVID-19 and prolong your lifespan. Lead a healthy life. God, also known as the supreme power, is the one and only one who can put a stop to natural, unnatural, maybe bio war and cyber war events like pandemics and epidemics, which ultimately paves the way for apocalypse and extinction of all sentient species on earth for no fault of others. Rest in peace and harmony.